If you're looking into River Edge, New Jersey, or you live here, chances are you're at least curious about commuting into Manhattan from River Edge. So today we're going to take a look at the commuting options getting into Manhattan for those working in the city. Thanks for checking this out today. My name is Ryan Gibbons of thisisriveredge.com. And like I said, we're going to be talking about transportation and commuting into Manhattan. There's four main ways that you can commute into Manhattan: train, bus, car, and ferry. And we're going to go through all four. We're going to show you the benefits of each, the cost of each, and how exactly you get into Manhattan using these four methods. So the first method we're going to talk about is the train. And the train is through New Jersey Transit. And we have two train stations here in River Edge. We have the River Edge station that is on the border of River Edge and New Milford, which is on River Edge Road. And we have New Bridge Landing, which is on the border of River Edge and Hackensack, which is on Main Street. So it's very convenient that we have two stations on either sides of town, which makes it convenient for really wherever you live. You shouldn't be too far from the stations. So both stations run on the Pascack Valley line, which will take you to either Secaucus or to Hoboken. And depending on where exactly you're going in the city, it'll depend on where you actually transfer. So if you were to be going into Secaucus, it would be about a 20 to 25 minute ride from River Edge to that station. And there you can connect into Penn Station. So there are a few different lines that will take you into Penn Station. And Penn Station is really in the middle of Manhattan. It's right underneath Gardens at the Madison Square Garden in the 30s between 7th and 8th. So if you're working in that section of town, it's a great opportunity to be able to commute in about 50 to 60 minutes right into Midtown Manhattan. The other option you can take from River Edge or from New Bridge Landing is going all the way into Hoboken. And when you get to Hoboken, you have the option of taking the PATH trains. And the PATH trains will take you to a few different points into Manhattan. I would think many of them, if you're working in lower Manhattan down by the World Trade Center, you'd be able to take a PATH train down to there. If you're taking the train into Penn Station, the cost as of this video is about $7.50 each way. And the cost to get all the way into World Trade Center would be about $9.25. So check those rates at njtransit.com to make sure that those rates are still accurate. They do have rates that you can get a card. So if you're going in daily, there are discounts that you can get. But if you're just taking it once, those are the rates as of the time of this video. So very convenient to be taking the train. You know, depending on where you're going, you can take that train into Midtown Manhattan or all the way down Southern Manhattan, and then you'll be able to connect from there to wherever you're commuting. So it's a very popular method for River Edge residents to be able to commute into the city. Now, if you don't live exactly right near the train station, there are commuter lots. So at both facilities, there are commuter lots. You pay the town. You must be a River Edge resident. You need to prove that residency. And as of this filming, it's $220 per year to get that permit. And there is parking on site at River Edge Station and at New Bridge Landing. So down below, we'll have the link to that application. So you'll be able to apply for that and be able to get that permit. So we're here at River Edge Station. Got the station right there behind me. That's River Edge Road. And up this direction is Kinderkamak, and over the other direction is New Milford. You can see conveniently located right out here. You can purchase your tickets right here with a credit card or cash. And you'll also see right behind us that this is the parking lot. So if you get your permit parking through the borough, you'd be able to use this parking lot every day transporting into New York City. So we're here at New Bridge Landing. This is on the border of River Edge and Hackensack. As you can see, we have some covered space here to keep you out of the weather, and there is an access point for you to be able to purchase tickets. And then right behind me here is the municipal lot. You do need to be a River Edge resident and get a parking pass. As of the filming, it's about $220, and you can fill that out with the borough. There are a limited amount of spots that you can pay $5 a day. They are first come, first served, and you'll see those marked on the outside of the lot. So this is New Bridge Landing. The second method you can take to get into New York City is the bus. And there are two options for taking the bus into Manhattan. The first one we'll talk about is New Jersey Transit. And New Jersey Transit line is the bus 165, and it runs from Westwood into Port Authority in Manhattan. It'll run right along Kindercamack Road. There are stops all along Kindercamack, starting at Midland and going all the way down to Grant Avenue. So there are plenty of stops to check out depending on where you live. There's certainly a convenient stop for you to take into Manhattan. The cost for the bus is $6 each way. And like I said, it'll take you into Port Authority right about at Times Square in New York City. And from there, you'd be able to take other public transportation to where your job actually is. The second option you have is Coach USA or Rockland Bus. And that, again, will run along Kindercamack Road. There are only two scheduled stops. There's one at Midland and there's one at Main Street. So opposite sides of town. So you'd have to get to those stops. They do run much less frequently than the New Jersey Transit. So you're going to want to check out their website, which we have linked down below, to get that schedule. And as of this filming, each way is about $6.60. And that, again, will take you into Port Authority. Scheduled time is about 50 to 60 minutes. I don't believe they have as many stops, so it might be a little quicker than taking New Jersey Transit. But again, keep in mind that they do not run as often as the New Jersey Transit buses. This is one of about 10 covered bus stops here along Kindercamack. You can see that there's a bench and a nice covered area, so if there is weather, this is a nice spot for you to stop and wait for the bus. This one in particular is located at Kindercamack and Howland, which you can see right behind me here. So this is one of about 10 covered spots, but there are a number of bus stops along Kindercamack, and they will all take you into Port Authority into New York. And they're also convenient for taking you in other points around New Jersey. So you don't need to use these just for getting into New York. They'll take you to all different points all around New Jersey. So the third method of getting into Manhattan is taking your car. So there are three main ways of getting across into Manhattan, and we'll discuss all three. So the first method would be going over the George Washington Bridge. It's about 10 miles from River Edge to the George Washington Bridge. It connects Fort Lee and 178th Street in Harlem. So depending on where you're working, if you're working in northern Manhattan, this might be a good way for you to get into New York City. The tolls, they're going to be the same for all of our methods, but they vary on the time that you go in and whether you're using Easy Pass or if you're using cash. At the time of this recording, if you're going in at peak times, it's $13.75. If you're going off peak, it's $11.75. And if you're paying by cash, it's $16. So that toll is only one way. You pay that going into Manhattan. Again, check the Port Authority website to make sure that those numbers are accurate. So that will take you into northern Manhattan. So the second option you have is taking the Lincoln Tunnel. And the Lincoln Tunnel would be more if you're working in Midtown Manhattan. It's about 18 miles from River Edge, and it will connect Weehawken and 39th Street. The tolls, as I said before, for the George Washington are the same. So depending on where you're working, if you're working more Midtown, the Lincoln Tunnel might be a good option for you. The third option, if you're working in very lower Manhattan, is you can take the Holland Tunnel. And the Holland Tunnel connects Jersey City and down into Soho at Spring Street. The tolls, again, are the same, and it's about 20 miles from River Edge. So those are the three options that you have. We have those three crossings, one bridge and two tunnels. It really will depend on the traffic, the time of day that you're going, and where your actual work or where your destination is going into Manhattan. So you'll want to research those three and figure out which one will work best for you and your commute. All the tolls will be the same. Obviously, it's best if you're using Easy Pass. The costs for you on a daily basis will be much lower by using Easy Pass. And the fourth and probably the least used method of getting into Manhattan on a daily basis is taking the ferry. So the ferry is run by New York Waterways, and they have a handful of ports on the Jersey side. They're in Weehawken, Hoboken, and Jersey City, and they will take you a ferry into different ports in Manhattan. The reason that this might not be as beneficial for River Edge residents is the cost and the travel time to get to them. The ferry is $13 each way as time of recording, and you will also need to pay for parking, which is on site. So it could be a nice way of getting across into Manhattan, for a nice day, but not typically used very often by River Edge residents getting into Manhattan. I think it would be more used for people that are living in Hoboken and Weehawken, where they don't have to drive to it and they don't have to park, and then it's an easier trip right across the river. So as you can see, we have 4 main ways of commuting into Manhattan from River Edge. Very convenient. All will take you between 50 minutes and an hour, depending on traffic and schedules. If you found any of this information helpful, we do a lot of videos on River Edge, real estate, and the Bergen County area. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can keep up with all the videos that we put out about River Edge, Bergen County, and just living in this area. My name's Ryan Gibbons of thisisriveredge.com. If you haven't checked out thisisriveredge.com, it is full of fantastic information on living in River Edge, everything you need to know from youth sports to commuting to houses for sale. My name's Ryan Gibbons, thisisriveredge.com, and North Jersey Partners, brokered by eXp Realty. Hope you enjoyed our video today. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.